Welcome back to In Search of Tontonteac. First of all, I'd like to apologize for my absence last week. I accidentally fell down a rabbit hole and was lucky to make it back. This week I've decided to take you with me right back down that rabbit hole. Many researchers have discussed and pushed the idea that ancient Egyptians might have lived in the Grand Canyon. This is curious to me because we've positioned Tontonteac in the Lake Mead area. So, how do these stories align? In 1909, the Arizona Gazette published two articles by a man named G.E. Kincaid, who claimed to have rafted down the Colorado River through the Grand Canyon. In the second article, Kincaid described finding a cave entrance 2,000 feet above the river. After hiking up, he allegedly discovered Egyptian artifacts inside. The stories also mention that this research was supposedly funded by the Smithsonian. And of course, that's where the trail ends. G.E. Kincaid and S.A. Jordan, the two individuals named in the article, have never been found in any historical records. Most dismiss these articles as sensational journalism, a tactic used by early 1900s newspapers to sell more papers. The Smithsonian claims no knowledge of such an expedition, nor of a Professor S.A. Jordan working for them. But should we trust those who blindly follow the narrative? Should we trust a powerful institution like the Smithsonian without question? Of course not. Let's keep going. Please bear in mind that North America is the home of the oldest mummy ever discovered. The Spirit Cave mummy was discovered in Nevada, and it is believed to be 8,000 years old or older. This has spurred many of conversations with people whom seem to believe that the oldest civilization was in the Middle East. In my search for answers, I watched various researchers' podcasts and shows, hoping to find something of substance, but found myself in a familiar predicament, empty-handed, just like in my search for Tontonteac. Some researchers pointed to different rock formations around the Grand Canyon that resemble Egyptian motifs. Interestingly, many of these formations even bear Egyptian names. One researcher, however, did offer a surprising lead. They mentioned an ancient Egyptian text called The Tale of Sinu, which recounts the story of an Egyptian official who flees Egypt and lives among foreign peoples. Within this story is a city called Peten, traditionally associated with the ancient Near East. Egyptologists explain that Peten was a region in Africa or the Middle East. However, Peten is also the name of a region in Guatemala, home to great Mayan cities like Tikal. More than 60,000 previously unknown structures have been uncovered in Peten recently, hinting at a massive ancient civilization. Ramses III, the Egyptian pharaoh who reigned from 1186 to 1155 BCE, referred to himself as the ruler of Peten. Similarly, Amenemhat, or Amenenshut, depending on the transliteration, a 12th dynasty pharaoh who ruled from 1991 to 1962 BCE, referred to himself as the ruler of the southern Peten. Were these titles reflecting their authority over a region in what is now Guatemala? Could the Peten referenced in ancient Egyptian texts actually be this region? Now you might be wondering, what does this have to do with In Search of Tontonteac? Well, my search for Tontonteac led me to investigate a connection between the ancient Egyptian presence in America and Tontonteac itself. This journey took me south, beyond the Aztec, into the territory of the Maya. We have already drawn connections to the Aztec and the Tontonteac. Whether it be directly or indirectly, they were obviously in trade with one another. Theory time. I believe the jury is still out on whether America was truly the Old World, or if ancient Egyptians originated from America. However, if Peten was indeed in Guatemala, then I would venture to say the Vatican knew this. In my first Confessions episode, I mentioned that the Church might have had prior knowledge of America's existence, and even specific cities within it. For years, a map thought to be connected to Marco Polo has circulated, depicting the Bering Strait long before its official discovery. From 1482 to 1485, Christopher Columbus made trips to Portugal, where he may have gained knowledge from the Portuguese, the most renowned navigators of their time. It's quite possible that Columbus used this knowledge to make his case to the church, ultimately gaining support for his voyage to the New World. Like the Aztec connection, I really did not see this coming. Hopefully, next week we will be closer to home.